Hi guys, I am here with the CEO of Semester at Sea.
Hello, I'm Scott Marshall. So happy to be here, Shanti.
Yes, and I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for this opportunity because this is absolutely life-changing and I don't think I'll be able to peak again this much in life because Semester at Sea is such a unique and amazing experience, but hopefully I'll be back and back and back and back as a lifelong learner over and over.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
I will. Okay, so today we're going to just ask him a few questions to get a better understanding of how this works and how Semester at Sea is how it is today. Okay, so starting off with number one, what inspired you to take on a leadership role at Semester at Sea?
Well, it's just something I really believe in and had enough experience that I felt like I could do this job decently well and want to do everything possible to make it survive long term. And so it just was the right time, right fit, right opportunity.
Awesome. And you said you studied abroad. I watched your thing today. You studied abroad in
Japan
in
1987. You're just aging me. That's what you're doing.
So what was that through? That was just through your school?
Yeah, our university had a partnership with another university outside of Tokyo, and I'd been studying Japanese language and thought this is the time to do it. Just like
so cool. Yeah. So did you know about Semester at Sea at the time?
I did not. Even though it's around, I did not know about it.
I always wondered how it worked back then. I know we have Wi-Fi now, but like, how are you communicating with your family?
It was not the internet.
So your family just had to pray you came back home.
You probably never heard of the thing called pair of avion. They were the blue letters that we all knew when we traveled overseas that you would write to your parents or your friends back home. And there would be a stamp on it, and you'd have to pay international postage. And every once in a while, you'd make a phone call, but they were very expensive.
Okay, so they did know you were alive.
Yes, generally they did.
Okay, all right. So what do you think makes the Semester at Sea experience different from any other study abroad program?
It's definitely the community that forms on the ship, which is unlike any other, and the comparative model. Historically, there's been a very immersive model, 3.5 months in one country. But in today's world, what we need people to understand is the world, not just a second country.
Yes.
And there's nothing like this program to really get young adults a sense of the world.
Amazing. And it really does. It opens and broadens your eyes to something. I don't even think I could grasp what this experience has done for me now and who I am. It creates a totally new person. But I love it. I love it. Okay, so how do you measure the impact of Semester at Sea on students in the global communities we visit?
So there's a lot of ways to think about that. One's simply economics, that we bring a lot of young adults ready to spend their money there.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's the intercultural interaction that happens, that if our young adults, young college students, take time to really explore, see the smiling faces, talk to those people, listen to those people, that kind of exchange has lasting impact on everybody who's involved in those conversations. So anybody who's thinking about Semester at Sea in the future, don't just think, oh, I get to go to 8 to 10 countries, it's going to be so cool, I get to be on a ship, it's so cool. Think, what kind of conversations am I going to have in those countries with those people? And how can I positively impact them and also take away from those extraordinary conversations?
Yeah, I would say some of my most exciting and favorite experiences on Semester at Sea have been interacting with other people in different places, and I never thought in any way, shape, or form that it was going to impact me the way that I did, and just how happy and welcoming and excited they are to also meet you.
Yeah.
It's like family, which is so crazy to comprehend that even language barrier doesn't even mean anything because it's all one community.
Open mind, open heart.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How do you ensure Semester at Sea remains accessible and inclusive to a diverse range of students?
Yeah, it's not a cheap program, but then it's also not an expensive program. It depends what you pay for tuition, right? So for some people, it's really expensive to think about it. And therefore, we offer a lot of scholarships. We spend a lot of time reaching out to our alumni and donor community to help build more scholarships. It's critical to our mission and to our financial sustainability and fundamentally to access. On the other hand, some universities are quite expensive, and frankly, there's people who go and this is their cheapest semester. So we have to peg our price so we can cover our costs and try to keep it accessible, but then definitely raise money so that we can bring on a diverse group of students. That's part, what if the voyage was as diverse as the world?
Right.
That's like this dream.
Yeah.
where it really represents the diversity of the world. How do we get there? We got to set that path and do the work.
Yeah, and I really wish, that's what I want people to know, is I really wish I knew this before, because actually, funny enough, 2 years ago, I wanted to do semester at sea, and I looked at it, I looked at the price, shut my computer, no. I had no idea they offered such financial, like so much financial help, and I would have most definitely done it then, but I'm glad I waited, because the opportunity came to where, like, now I get to partner with them, and I think that's even cooler.
Even cooler.
Yeah.
And you're even cooler.
Stop. Okay. What are your long-term goals for the program in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's hard to picture out 5 or 10 years. There's obviously big stretch goals we have. One is just as we're talking about, make sure the voyage community is diverse as the world is diverse. That's something we have to work on every day, actually. It's something we're really committed to. And then, I want to raise a lot more money, because the more money we raise from our donors, the more sustainable the program is, the more environmentally sustainable we become, the more we can do our work with diverse populations, the more we can do great programming. So we have to build our endowments significantly, and that's a big part of my job. I wanted to get to a point where universities really understand what we are, because there's still misperception out there where talk to someone and say, oh, that's a booze cruise, and how much drinking goes on the ship?
You're actually not allowed to drink, really. And if you do, it's 1 to 2 drinks on designated nights once a month.
Yeah, it's really actually very limited. Very limited. And 21 or older. This isn't according to international law, it's according to US law. So I want to be able to dispel those myths. It's not a rigorous learning environment. Actually, the learning experience is profound. I love the opportunity to talk to the university and say, you really need to allow students to choose. And so the more we can open up that, it just means more students have access to this program.
And I like everyone I've talked to, and me myself, I've never learned anything more than being on semester at sea. Just going into port, like even the field programs, they take you into villages. They teach you things that I promise you would never have learned unless you were on this voyage, as well as just the sustainability aspect. I don't think we realized back in America how important it is and how much we affect the countries that we're visiting, and it opens your eyes to it's actually very scary, and it's so sad. I feel selfish and I would have never known this unless I came on semester at sea, and now I feel bad. But I noticed that y'all are very sustainable on the ship. Like everything is eco-friendly, which I really appreciate. And another thing, what did you say?
Another part of that. So you go back 8 years ago. Everything we served was in single-serve plastic. There's no single-serve plastic on the ship anymore. That's why the water filling stations are there. But we used to bring individual yogurt containers on. We don't do that anymore. We eliminated all that. The only place you'll find single-use plastic is the compostable plastic for smoothies. That's really hard to replace. But otherwise, absolutely eliminated on the ship.
Yeah. When they were talking today, at the thing at 9 o'clock, she was saying, I encourage you pretty much to put it on your resume. And it's I truly believe, I never even thought about that before, but I was I believe people who experience something like that should be kind of seen as the amount of the world and things that you see, it broadens your knowledge immensely. I feel I should get a better job because I've been on semester at sea. It's beyond, I can't even put into words what this voyage has done for me.
Yeah, and for those who are hiring that haven't heard about semester at sea, if you frame it right, it actually becomes a talking point in an interview. And if you learn how to articulate it within an interview, it actually opens doors. I've heard this repeatedly from alumni, not only for the first job, but for promotions within organizations. And the key is, Ashanti, to learn how to articulate it in written words, LinkedIn, or your resume, and then how to articulate it within interviews, which is going to be different.
Yeah.
But how do you capture it? What does it mean to have the ability to think critically in multiple environments? Oh, well, let me tell you about semester C. I went to this country and I had to get a taxi and a Uber, and you think that's simple, but it's so different than it is in the US. And then I had to get on a bus and go to this other location and tell you, it's nothing like a bus in New York. It's completely different, and I had to do that in multiple countries. So I learned all these skills and how to navigate in various different environments. That's a really important skill in the workplace.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to find the words, but it's I can't yet find them. I definitely need time. But it's how do I say that I've learned so many new things, and what what way do I put it into? Like, unless you've been on the voyage, like they said, they just don't quite understand.
Yeah.
So I definitely encourage everyone to experience this, because I don't know that there's any other opportunity out there that will give you what this voyage does.
One of a kind.
Yes.
One of a kind.
And okay, lastly, I want to ask you to share a story or moment that made you especially proud of the program's impact. You probably have a lot. But.
Yeah, I have a lot, and the example I'm going to give maybe seems less interesting, but actually for me, given my current role, it was very current. It just was so powerful. So I was walking down the hallway in the ship, and one of our distinguished alumni who was here for the last portion of the voyage was sitting in the hallway, and 15 students were just there, and they were just having this conversation, and they said, "You want to sit down too?" So I sat down. And to have people who are less than half my age, or more than half my age, I should say, so curious and willing to have these conversations with adults. I can tell you, when I was 19, 20, 21, I wasn't, or I was intimidated, or I just didn't do it. And over an hour, we just had a conversation. So it makes me super proud to be part of a program which empowers young adults to sit with other older adults and share their concerns, their worries, their questions that can lead them forward in really important ways. So I could talk about big moments,
Yeah.
right? But this is those special moments where you have people, again, I'm 58, these people are more than half my age, and they're so much more thoughtful and confident and concerned than I was at that age.
Yeah.
And it just makes me so proud that a voyage creates these people.
Yeah. And it's like, even just, I can only assume from your standpoint how much you realize that you impacted all of these people's lives, and you will be the reason that, like, you're carrying on with them for the rest of their lives. They're going to remember you and remember everything that has to do with this voyage, and that, I feel like, is overwhelming. Like, you can't even, realize how much of an impact you and Semester at Sea has made on everybody here.
Yeah, and I, first of all, would say everybody who works at the Institute. Like,
oh, yes,
we have
yes,
45
yes.
people who worked really hard to make this happen. It's a wonderfully complex, beautiful thing what we do. And so each of us that works for that organization takes great pride in what we end up doing and impacting people's lives. I've talked to alums on my podcast who sailed 50 years ago, and they still talk about it as the most formative experience in their life. Why would you want to do anything else with this job when you're hearing that, right?
Everybody go. And I can't even wrap my head around the work that is put behind the people who are at home office, who we don't see. Because we already see the workers on the ship, and I mean, I don't know how any of us are going to go back to normal life, because they make our bed. They feed us 3 times a day, even more than 3 times a day. We're catered to, literally, all day, every day, and they smile 24/7. They also learned our names on, the first day.
I know.
That was impressive. But I don't know that life will ever be as simple and fun and adventurous again, which just sucks, but...
Treasure what it is.
Yes.
And we treasure every moment of life, treasure what this was, and then move forward, but keep all the friends, keep the community as you move forward.
Well, sweet. I thank you so much, and again, this has been an amazing voyage, and I know you get to keep going, but eventually I will come back, hopefully, and bring my family.
Who knows, maybe we'll be on the same voyage. I'll be in a wheelchair, and you'll be...
and I'll be in a wheelchair too.
You'll be young and spry with your kids running around.
Yeah, I would love that. But sweet, thank you so much, and I appreciate you spending time with me as we literally port in 2 days.
Yeah.
So this is upsetting. I gotta go pack.
It's that time of day.
Yeah, it is that time.
That point in the voyage,
Sad days.
Shanti, thanks for representing the voyage so positively.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. See you later. Not goodbye.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.